Our cheap new outfit might have cost a child's entire future. This stark reality underscores the hidden perils of fast fashion, especially from giants like Forever 21, a brand that pioneered the rapid production model. Forever 21, established in 1984, quickly built an empire on trendy, low-cost apparel, pushing 52 micro-seasons each year and introducing upwards of 12,000 new styles annually to its vast global market. This constant churn encourages a throwaway culture, where garments are often worn perhaps only 7 times on average before their disposal. The invisible price tag attached to these seemingly affordable items is truly astronomical, encompassing vast environmental damage and severe human exploitation across continents. The fashion industry overall contributes a staggering 10% of global carbon emissions, a figure that unequivocally exceeds the combined impact of all international flights and maritime shipping combined. Producing just one standard cotton t-shirt demands 2,700 liters of water, volume sufficient for one person to drink for 900 days. A single pair of jeans can easily consume 10,000 liters of water, from irrigation to processing. Furthermore, textile dyeing processes represent the second largest polluter of clean water sources worldwide, releasing dangerous heavy metals and toxic chemicals like azo-dyes and formaldehyde into vital ecosystems and affecting local populations. Microplastic fibers from synthetic fabrics such as polyester, nylon, and acrylic leach into oceans with every wash, eventually entering our entire food web and impacting human health directly. In terms of human cost, garment workers, predominantly women and sometimes children, in developing nations often toil for less than $3 per hour in extremely unsafe and unsanitary factory conditions for up to 16 hours daily, 6 days a week. These abysmal conditions can lead to horrific tragedies, like the Rana Plaza factory collapse in Bangladesh, which claimed more than 1,100 lives and injured thousands more, demonstrating the extreme human price for our relentless fast fashion addiction. 85% of all textiles ultimately end up in landfills, amounting to 11 million tons annually in the United States alone. A full truckload of textile waste is dumped every single second, highlighting the enormous scale of this globally unsustainable consumption. Americans now buy 5 times more clothing than they did in 1980, fueling this destructive cycle of exploitation and waste. Moving towards a more sustainable wardrobe means consciously choosing quality over fleeting trends, diligently repairing and reusing garments, extending their lifespan considerably, and supporting ethical brands that prioritize fair wages and rigorous environmental stewardship. The global fast fashion market now surpasses $200 billion a year, illustrating the massive economic engine driving these unsustainable practices and demanding urgent consumer awareness and systemic change worldwide. A single garment can outlive its wearer by 200 years in a landfill. This shocking reality reveals the depth of the ecological disaster driven by fast fashion, a behemoth devouring resources and spitting out waste at an unprecedented rate. Polyester and similar synthetic materials, which make up over 60% of clothing globally, can take 2 centuries to decompose, shedding harmful microplastics into our oceans and food chains throughout that entire period. The production of these materials is heavily reliant on fossil fuels, demanding significant energy input and contributing substantially to global greenhouse gas emissions. Beyond environmental devastation, the human toll is equally horrific, with workers, primarily women and girls in developing countries, facing systemic abuse. Their average wage often remains below $3 per hour, far less than a living wage, many enduring forced overtime shifts extending up to 18 hours daily, 7 days a week in highly dangerous conditions. These factories frequently lack proper ventilation, creating a suffocating atmosphere of chemical fumes, while basic necessities like clean drinking water and sanitary restrooms are often denied. Reports consistently detail instances of verbal assault, physical harassment, and widespread wage theft. Health and safety standards routinely ignored, leading to frequent accidents and long-term health issues from exposure to toxic dyes and chemicals like lead, mercury, and cadmium. Over 1,700 distinct chemicals are employed in the fashion industry, with 500 considered severely hazardous. The textile industry is indeed responsible for 20% of global industrial water pollution, a shocking amount that dwarfs other sectors. Even natural fibers like cotton, despite their organic appeal, demand vast quantities of water for irrigation, often in drought-prone regions, and rely heavily on pesticides and insecticides that contaminate local water sources and soil, harming biodiversity and community health. The relentless pace of new collections creates mountains of textile waste annually, with 40 million tons of post-consumer clothing discarded each year worldwide. An estimated 60% of clothes donated to charity shops in Western countries end up re-exported to Africa, overwhelming local markets and quickly becoming massive landfill sites, such as the infamous Kantamanto market in Ghana. This cycle fuels a throwaway culture, where the average garment is worn just 7 times before disposal, a stark contrast to past generations, who valued clothing for its durability and longevity. The supply chain itself is incredibly carbon-intensive, with materials manufactured in one country, garments assembled in another, and then shipped across continents to be sold, amplifying the industry's overall carbon footprint. Fast fashion not only exploits labor and ravages the environment, but also creates an insatiable consumer hunger, a never-ending quest for the next trend, replacing timeless quality with fleeting cheapness. This unsustainable model demands a fundamental shift in consumer behavior and industry practices towards ethical sourcing and environmental responsibility. A textile ocean of 22 billion garments is manufactured each year. Forever 21, once a retail giant, perfected the blueprint for this fast fashion frenzy, churning out new styles daily, a dizzying pace that made its 1,800 square meter stores feel like endless trend factories. This model prioritized volume and speed above all else, where a $5 top had an invisible price tag far exceeding its monetary value. That hidden cost involved garment workers in countries like Bangladesh and Vietnam, earning less than $2 per day, working grueling 16-hour shifts 7 days a week, often in unsafe factories, with inadequate ventilation and exposure to toxic chemicals like lead and cadmium. Many of these laborers, primarily women and young girls, faced verbal abuse and even physical harassment for failing to meet impossible quotas. The environmental toll was equally staggering, with Forever 21's massive production contributing to the industry's overall 20% global industrial water pollution. A truly alarming statistic. Synthetic fibers like polyester, making up 60% of their garments, take over 200 years to decompose, shedding microplastics with every wash cycle. Dyeing processes for a single pair of jeans can use up to 75 liters of water and release harmful dyes into local rivers, contaminating drinking supplies for communities already struggling. The relentless cycle of new collections meant millions of tons of unsold or quickly discarded clothing ending up in landfills. Each year, 40 million tons of post-consumer clothing is thrown away worldwide, a significant portion of it still wearable. This overproduction created an unsustainable demand for virgin resources, from petroleum for synthetics to vast tracts of land for cotton cultivation, often requiring heavy pesticide use. Breaking this cycle demands a conscious shift toward a sustainable wardrobe. Consumers can choose to buy less, opting for higher quality pieces designed for longevity, instead of fleeting trends. Supporting ethical brands that pay fair wages and use eco-friendly materials like organic cotton or recycled polyester is crucial. Repairing clothes, extending their life by mending or upcycling them, drastically reduces waste. Thrift stores and clothing swaps offer alternatives to new purchases, reducing demand for new production. Choosing clothes made from natural fibers with low water footprints, or those certified by fair trade organizations, can make a significant difference. Reducing laundry frequency and washing clothes in cold water also lessens their environmental impact. This collective effort is necessary to dismantle the fast fashion machine built on exploitation and waste, moving towards a future where each garment is valued for its craftsmanship and durability.